What is going on, everybody? We'll get the live stream rolling soon here. Just want to give everybody some time to check in and to get squared away. So, thank you for being one of the first. And, I don't know, maybe another 2 or 3 minutes, we'll get rolling. Okay, let's get it popping. Let's get into the live chat here. Jesus, saludos to you as well, my friend. Thanks for being here. You are the first comment. You are always one of the first. You must have that bell notification turned on, huh? You know what's crazy is, I follow a lot of YouTube channels. I don't know that I have notifications on for anybody. So the point being that anybody that has them on for me, man, I really do appreciate that. Burger Alpha, what's going on with you? Thanks for being here. You're number 2. Still pretty quick. Yes, this is the first Q&A of 2024. How did you get a job in sportscasting? That's a pretty deep question to start off with. Simple answer is persistence, an early internship, an early interest. I pretty much knew I wanted to do this stuff since middle school. So yeah, I got an early start. Whoa to call. Maybe like what number to call? I don't know that we'll do call-ins tonight. I'm not opposed to it. I could set it up real quick, but I'm not ready for that yet. And if we do, I guess I could pop the number here up on the screen, right? There it is. So if and when we get there, but not yet. Okay. Sharks fangirl. Long time no talk. Good to have you here. Yeah, Burger Alpha. I'm not sure yet about the call-ins. I'm not saying no yet. I just want to see how long I'm on for here at first. I always say, 30, 45 minutes. And then it's 2 hours and 45 minutes. We'll see. Feliz 2024. Is that 2024? Did I say that right? Did I get that? Dadpool. Yes, of course you can get a birthday shout-out. Happy 29th birthday. How does 29 feel? For however many times it's been. I'm 21. Times 2. Happy birthday, Dadpool. I recognize your handle, your name. I know we've talked before. I appreciate you for being here. Felix! Hello, buddy. It's also been a while. It's good to have you here. Ronald saying, I hope your night is going well. Hey, it is. Sharks won. First time in almost a month. I'll let the beat drop for that. When will you be at the Shark Tank to do the pre- and post-game show? You know what? Somebody asked me that last time. I don't actually, I have a calendar and a schedule. I don't have it readily available. This year, we're not doing it as much. And for anybody that likes us out there, I totally agree with you. So That would be my preference, but it's just not on. It's not in the cards this year for us to be out there as much. So I don't know the answer. I'm pretty sure there are a few more, but I don't know if they're in the month of January. Excuse me. Or February. I'm not honestly even sure when the next one is. Been a crazy minute. Last I've been here, I was doing linear algebra. Oh, Burger, did I say I was going to help you with your homework on a live stream? And then I actually went to go to ChatGPT to do your homework for you. Hang on. Choking myself up. I think I do remember that. I was bragging like, I'll help you out with your homework. What do you need? And then, yeah, no, I couldn't help you. Somebody's got the number right now. Is that tenemos nombre misma? Or I've got the same number? Mismo is the same, right? Now I'm my Spanish from 20 years ago, my AP Spanish is checking in. It's not doing so well. Oh, on to discrete math. Yep, we were on to some discrete math. Puck guy, Eric, it's great to have you here. The streak is over. Streak number 2 is over. Yeah, 11 games to start the year. A dozen games to carry over into 2024. Let's not do any more big Sharks losing skids, huh? The second half in the schedule should be easier and should promote that. All right. Jesus, Oakland forever. I'm with you. Ronald, so glad the streak is over. Brody Brazil. Wait, no, that's me. Hello, everyone. We'll get going soon. That's how far behind I am here on the live chat. Any rumors from within the organization of when we might see the return of Logan Couture? And it's so highly anticipated because it seemed like we were on the brink and it was imminent. And then it was a few more games. And then it was going to be to start this road trip. And now it's a few more games. I don't know. I mean, hockey injuries, as you all know, are held so tight-lipped. And maybe there's one of two things. Maybe there have been some minor concerns. Knock on wood, I hope it's not setbacks. Maybe Logan really just wants to make sure that when he comes back, it's for good. And maybe that's the delay. But quite honestly, I don't know the nature of it. Yes, I would fully expect it's on this road trip. To my understanding, it's not going to be the next game in Ottawa against the Senators, so maybe the one after that in Buffalo. Logan's a big Bills guy. Maybe in Buffalo, he'll make his season debut. Burger Alpha, confirming what I just said. Thank you, Burger Alpha. Sharks have officially done it. Oh, they've done it, officially broken their streak. It was a great game tonight. They went up 2-0. They went up 3-1. They allowed a late goal, 6-on-5, right? Like that push was going to happen. The Habs aren't that bad. They're a 40-point team, but they put it on the Sharks tonight at the very end. They gave them all they had at the very end. Here's one from friend of the program, Felix. Oh, why is this not fitting on the screen? Oh, there we go. Fix that right up. Oh, sorry, I've got Jason Demers texting me. Oh, yeah, by the way, Jason Demers is going to be on Sharks pre- and post-game live in person for the next 6. We didn't really talk about that a lot tonight. I guess we'll spring that on people on Saturday. His first in-studio pre- and post-game with us. Felix wondering, with Nylander's 8-year, $11.5 million per year extension with the Leafs, do you think the NHL should implement a luxury tax? Noted outspoken player agent Alan Walsh seems to think so. Okay, so Felix, the reason why an agent would be for a luxury tax is to break the top end of the salary cap. Like not the floor, clearly, but the salary cap. A luxury tax goes from making it a hard cap to a soft cap, kind of like what baseball has. At some point when you exceed that threshold, you can do it, you just have to pay for it. So let me just see both sides of this quickly. Number one, I think the NHL is one of the most leveled out playing fields in all of the professional sports. I pretty much feel like on a lot of given nights, most teams can beat most other teams despite who's favored and who's the underdog. The amount of parity in the NHL probably rivals any other of the major pro sports leagues in North America. And I think a big reason why is the salary cap. Now, I don't know that I'm necessarily for salary caps entirely. Maybe I am more of a soft cap type person with a luxury tax involved. Again, and I say that, and I see this from the viewpoint of being a person who works under contract, who is a performer. And why would I want to limit players on any given team for making a certain amount of money? It's not my fault. This guy signed for a lot, but I'm also worth a lot. Now this team that I want to stay with, they can't sign me, hypothetically. So I do see that from the player perspective. I don't want them to get any less than market value. I suppose I am a little bit for that. But here we go again. Do some of the highest spending teams now spend so much and disregard that threshold so much that, yeah, they're paying the other teams, but now the other teams, the Arizona Coyotes of the world, now are they choosing to purposely not spend because they know their luxury tax payment is coming to them? There are clearly other examples around professional sports which showcase this exact thing going on. So the luxury tax, for me and the players, I'm fine with it. But for me and the teams, I don't really know how I feel about that. Are you creating a haves and have-nots type situation, or have and will not type situation? Do the Rangers and the Leafs and all of the big market NHL teams, Montreal probably spends a lot of dough, Vancouver, Chicago, Philly, what does that do to the Columbus Blue Jackets? What does that do to the Atlanta Thrasher? Oh, no, wait, they're not in the league. You get my point, though. Honestly, the Panthers, the Bolts, are they in the same spending scenario as some of those big market hockey teams? And again, I'm not going to sit here on a YouTube live stream and say, oh, I absolutely favor a salary cap in the NHL. We got to control these teams. But I kind of do enjoy the parity of the league and the fact that you don't get these powerhouses. You don't get these super teams. The Los Angeles deferrals. See what I did there? The Los Angeles Dodgers just don't exist in the NHL. And in a way, I mean, you're getting, again, that level playing field, which makes it competitive, which makes it unpredictable. So, again, the only reason why I want to go to a soft cap would be for the players, but the questions I have center around the team and the way the teams operate. Of course, a player agent is going to want more money into players so that agent can make more of a commission and make more for their players. So that is no surprise. Thanks for the question, Felix. That was a good one. I'll turn that one into probably a separate video some other time. Felix with the follow-up. What do you think a luxury tax would look like in the NHL? Well, if they're around the $80-something million mark, what they would do is just say, okay, on the high end, at some point when they want to implement this, if you spend over $87 million, we tax you a certain way, right? And this is what a luxury tax is. But I don't know how many teams you're going to have busting so far through that luxury tax. Are we going to split $1 million 31 other ways? Like, is that really worth it? How many teams are really going to go that far over the luxury tax? It might get younger players paid a little bit better and a little bit more earlier in their careers, but it would be probably the hard cap number would be allowed to, you can go past the hard cap number to create that soft cap to go past the luxury tax. Anyway, probably went too long on that too, but I do think that's interesting. Oops, I skipped a whole bunch of comments there. I still have to work out my live chat thing here. It's been a little bit finicky lately. Burger Alpha, I don't know if a luxury tax would be too fair in the NHL. And that's the thing too. In hockey, you've got some really strong franchises in traditional markets. You've got some other emerging teams in smaller markets. I mean, quite honestly, even the Anaheim Ducks, they're in technically Southern California, like the LA market, but would they ever be able to compete directly with what the Kings might do? I don't know. Vegas Golden Knights are a huge question. They've had success. Are they eventually a big money team? Would Seattle be a big money team? How about the Avs? It's hard to even project and know that right now because every team is limited to a certain salary cap amount. Burger Alpha wants to call in. Well, we'll see if we get there. If you call in, I'll give you some advanced algebra advice. Sharks fan 8080, how's everything going? Thanks for checking in. You know what? This Shark season, people have reached out to me and said, "Ooh, this must be a rough one. Are you hanging in there? Are you doing okay? Does it get worse?" To be quite honest with you, the Sharks losing as many games as they have this year comes nowhere close to the experience of my baseball work in covering a team that is actively trying to relocate. And to be fair about that story and to try and just document what's going on and to pass along and communicate all the details that people might think are interesting and relevant and noteworthy and important. It is so much more difficult to do the baseball stuff, which isn't even really baseball stuff. It's business stuff. Covering wins and losses, this is a walk in the park. It's a cakewalk, to be quite honest with you. So outside of work, by the way, everything's pretty good. So thanks for asking, Sharks fan. 8080. Watching from the East Coast. So this is early/late. But is it tomorrow? Or it is tomorrow. It's 12:38 in the morning. We got to do a little time check here. How do we do this? We go, oh yeah, there we go. Studio 6B, it's 12:38 Eastern, 9:38 Pacific. So there you go. We're fancy here, by the way, the new, the newly upgraded home studio. Yoko, good evening. Jesus, I'm not surprised much of these 30-plus-year-old free agents in MLB are not getting signed. Are you? You know, it's been an interesting baseball offseason in that the Ohtani piece has fallen, the Yamamoto piece has fallen into place. You know where they're going. But we're still sitting on Snell, and I saw Stroman is with the Yankees now, I guess pending a physical. So it's interesting, though. There's a mass amount of players that still don't have it figured out. Now, this is always how it works. We'll get into mid-January, late January, close to early February. The push will be on. And, of course, a lot of players are out there not knowing if they're going to spring training in Arizona or Florida, but that they will be playing. So I imagine there's a lot of impatient big leaguers right now just taking cuts in the cage, just waiting for that text or that phone call if something has worked out. And usually it's a couple breaks in the dam. And then all of a sudden the flood comes through of a bunch of signings and players confirmed. And I'm not talking about the arbitration eligible players. I'm talking about the flat out free agents across Major League Baseball. We really haven't seen a day where there's oh my gosh, 20 guys signed to different teams today. It really hasn't happened. You have a job and a family to take care of, so I would get you not having anyone's YouTube notifications on. Well, but it's not that. There are some YouTube content programs. There are some YouTube channels that I check in on an everyday basis. It's just that I don't necessarily need to know it's 9:40 p.m. I got to know that they're live or that they just published something new. So I appreciate anybody who has gone to that level here on my channel. I really do. So what am I supposed to say? Like and subscribe and hit the bell and, look at us. Look what we're doing here. We've got this. Whatever this is, we've got it built in. All right. Oh, your NFL playoff picks for this weekend. Let me just, I don't know that I want to go into all that here, but I will say, let me just say this about the 49ers. First off, two things. I'd have to think that they're Super Bowl favorites. I know they are. I saw the odds. But I'd have to think it's a huge disappointment if they don't reach the Super Bowl. So they have to get there for everybody's expectations. And if they play the Ravens, that game from a couple weeks ago, trust me, it was actually a good thing. To get beat, to have Purdy play so poorly, I say that was 5 interceptions. Only 1.5 of them were really bad. And you can't win a game with 5 picks like that. So my point is, fooling everybody, and if it really is a Ravens 49ers Super Bowl, having that narrative going in of, oh boy, the 49ers are in trouble. They've already got stomped by Baltimore. This thing is done. That is the best possible scenario of something you could walk right into. In a way, it takes all the weird pressure right off the 49ers and it puts it on the Ravens to say, oh, you're the favorites, you're the heavy dog. If you don't win, it's your problem. And trust me, the 2 weeks leading into the Super Bowl, that's all the media hype and the buzz and the talk is about. They will build up every single angle before then. So I know at the time it was like, if this is a Super Bowl preview and you just got stomped, that's not good. But in actuality, and you know what? It was kind of like the 49ers season where they really hit that rut. Was that at the end of October, beginning of November, right around then? And then they bounced back and they were on a tear ever since. And to kind of have another setback, like a late season setback, a reminder, a wake-up call. And I know there's some bumps and bruises with the 49ers, and hopefully that can be mitigated here down the stretch, a little extra rest. But my point is, at this juncture, they have to get to the Super Bowl. And I like the way they're set up if, in fact, it's the Ravens. If it's somebody else, quite honestly, I don't, there will be storylines there too, but especially if it's Baltimore and San Francisco playing for the Super Bowl. Let's see what else we got here. Devin is excited about the Sharks win. Everybody's pretty hot on that. Me too. I mean, it just felt so good to do a post-game show earlier tonight, talking about positives and a win and smiles on people's faces. Granted, I can do the losses all day long. I'm a trained professional at this, and I'm still going to cover the game and cover it fairly and not rub it in anybody's face, not point the finger too much if it's not needed or necessary. But man, winning feels so much better. It is so much easier to do your job when the team wins. With the dynamic changes that happened with football this week, do you think that will happen with baseball, or has it already happened? Dynamic changes? You'd have to be more specific there. I could go like 3 different ways with that. I don't know specifically which ones you're talking about. Will Julio Urias, Trevor Bauer, and Wander Franco ever play in Major League Baseball again? Don't know. There's a lot of different things going on there. A lot of off the field stuff. And it's a lot for any team, whether a player has been 100% cleared of wrongdoings or not. And I don't even know where to begin with the allegations, in this trio. But my feeling is this, and I'll make the general statement that applies to these 3 and everybody else. This is not like a normal job where you can deny somebody of work if they're qualified to do it. This is a front-facing, high-profile, like privileged type job. You're privileged to play professional sports. Quite honestly, you're privileged to work in professional sports. It's a little bit different over here. And to even be deep in the weeds where this stuff is surrounding you, and I don't want to say whether you did it or not, but I mean, if there's any sense of doubt about somebody's background or the things they've been into before, it's really hard to let that continue and to perpetuate that and to have them represent, multi-million and billion-dollar companies. So I'm not sitting over here riding on this high horse, but there's probably some extreme difficulties, even if they're qualified to do the job, in welcoming them back. This is not a typical business, not a typical industry. And like I said, it is a privilege to be in this. It's not a right. It's not anybody's right to get to play Major League Baseball. Hey, Brody, what's the first trade you think the Sharks make? I think you have to look at, number 1, what assets do you have? And number 2, what are you trying to get out of all this? The number 2 part is actually the easiest. You're trying to get draft picks, right? You're trying to stock your system. I take it back. I would be interested in established prospects, but then again, those are so valuable, and I don't know that the Sharks have something extremely valuable that would transfer into known commodity type prospects. So I think draft picks is what the Sharks are after. And I could look at a couple players right now, specifically either one of the goaltenders. And I hate doing this. I hate shopping away players right now. It's not fun. But I really feel like you could look at Kaapo Kähkönen and or Mackenzie Blackwood and consider taking phone calls about them. I think there are across the league a lot of teams, not necessarily competitive teams looking for their number one. They must have a number one that's got them to this point, but they're looking for that number two, that insurance plan. And maybe they don't feel great about their number two right now and they want to give their number one a rest down the stretch. I really feel like San Jose's goaltending is their best positional asset right now in terms of a trade piece. After that, I think there are some tough decisions to make. I don't know on the blue line how deep the Sharks are in terms of, there's Mario Ferraro. He's on a very good contract that could transfer over to a team that could make that puzzle piece fit. Are the Sharks interested in moving on that? What would they get back? Obviously, I understand where Vlasic is at in his career. That's a tough one. He's been a scratch lately, more nights than not. And then up front, you do have Hoffman, who's scored some goals. You have Duclair, who hasn't scored a bunch of goals this year. Both of those players are relative known commodities around the league. So I just don't know what you get back or how much you get back for them. Mikael Granlund is having a really good season. But is he part of your immediate future? Is he flippable? And the last one I'll touch on here is straight up the captain. And if Logan Couture comes back on this road trip, there's going to be a month and a half. And actually, when you break it up with the All-Star situation, maybe more like 5 weeks. 5 really good weeks of playing. And again, I don't know what other teams' interest would be in Logan. He's got 3 more years after this one under contract for $20 million. 7, 7, and 4, I think, is how the contract shakes out. But what if like the hockey guy? Did everybody see my video with the hockey guy here on the channel from a couple weeks ago? He suggested the Dallas Stars. They know what they're doing in taking on some of these older players and getting the most out of them and competing and getting a chance to, win and play for the Stanley Cup. So Logan's another one that I don't know that he's the first. I know, Ronald, that's your question, but that's got to be a consideration, right? A player like that who, and I've already said in my video, I'm not trying to shop him away either. Like, this is the captain. This is one of your elder statesmen on the team. You don't do this unless he's okay with it. It's the professional courtesy of the team to say, are you interested in this? Because if you are, we are too, and we want to help you at age almost 35. We want to help you have a chance to compete in your last couple seasons of being in the NHL. Look, he's 35. At the very best, I don't know that he's playing 5 years from now, which is totally amazing because I literally remember Logan Couture's first NHL game. It feels like yesterday. 2009, right? But it feels like yesterday. How time flies. I do see, Skywalker in the super chat. Skywalker, I appreciate you so much. Thank you again. Thank you again for being in the super chat. As I always explain to people, by the way, the YouTube channel here, the upgrades I do, the quality I try and bring, the frequency of the videos, storage space, hard drives, all that stuff. I'm always trying to add something, and the way I do it is to take what the channel makes and I put it right back into the channel. So I'll always prioritize questions here on the live chat via the super chat. You don't have to. Trust me, if that's not your thing, no pressure. Like, we'll get to you when we get to you. But I just want to let Skywalker and everybody know that's what this is for. I always do appreciate it. And because of it, I always try and prioritize the Q&A to those. Any word on when season tickets go on sale? Thank you from Dublin, California. Are you talking about, is this baseball? Because if it is, I think those have been available for a really long time. I don't know how they're going this year. And I know you can't really buy tickets after 2024 because nobody knows where the Oakland baseball team will be playing. So I don't know. Could you be talking about a different sport? Hit me up, Skywalker. Let me know. I'll circle back and find your next comment there. Devin, thank you so much. Nah. No, is that it? Yeah, Goat does nah. Nah. That sounds really bad. Sorry, that's so annoying. Brian literally wondering, put it on this screen here. Brian was wondering if you've heard of any plans by the Oakland Ballers to live stream their games. I canceled my MLB TV after the owners vote. First off, Brian, let me address the second part of what you said there. Hey, I imagine there's a lot of people doing a lot of things right now based on their displeasure for the A's situation. And as I've said all along, I can't advise people anything. I can't tell you how to feel. There's no playbook for this. This doesn't happen more than once every 50 plus years, which is a really good thing, but it seems like the wheels are in motion for it right now. So I'm not going to tell anybody to do this or don't do that. I'll respect everybody's extremes, but I do want to say I understand if any of you feel like you're at an extreme. About the Ballers, in a weird way, I almost hope that they don't. Whoa, why would I say that? It sounds like I'm against what they're about to do. No. I feel like they have to make it at least for the first season. Now, this is a double-edged sword here. I feel like you almost have to make it so that if you really want to see what this thing's all about, you got to get out there to Laney College and check out a game. Or maybe the Coliseum if they get to play that one game. Right? Because people might start supporting this team and watching the live streams. And great, it would be an opportunity for a baseball broadcaster to call games. And I mean, eventually it's a cool idea and it's a cool thing. But at the foundation of this, their success largely depends on people actually saying, you know what, not only do I support this idea, but I'm going to go out and support it with my dollars. And I'll buy some merch. I'll have a hot dog while I'm out there. I'll spend some money to help support this team. What they're about to do is a costly venture. I honestly don't know their numbers. But I would imagine that even in their planning right now, they'll be lucky to break even for this first year, just based on all the newness and things they have to buy and people they have to hire. And travel's not going to be easy. And they're probably going to spend more just to get it right versus try and figure it out. Like they don't know all the tricks of, I don't want to say shortcuts, but they don't know that stuff yet. Anyway, in a weird way, and if they could make money off streaming it, then of course I'm for that. And then that helps too. But at a certain respect, you almost want to make it exclusive so that if you're interested and you want to check this out and you want to support it, the way to do it is not just watch it on your phone. The way to do it is get out there and go to a game and really show some support and make sure people know that this is, this has some backing to it. So I know that's on people's minds, and eventually, absolutely, that's a great idea. You got to get your games out there. You got to get your exposure out there, your players out there. And maybe the Pioneer League, I'm not super familiar with how they do things from a media perspective, but maybe all the games are live streamed already. Maybe they don't have a choice in that. Maybe it's not up to them. But I would say that they might want to give people a taste, but then have some games that there's only one way to see it, kind of like the olden days, so to speak. Okay, I see... There he is. There's Skywalker. Take my money. All right. Skywalker still wants to go see some A's baseball. Well, like I said, I think those have been on sale for quite some time now. All right, Heavy C 78. Now, by the way, look at Heavy C's handle right there. Heavy C is a regular supporter of the channel, which I do appreciate. I believe Heavy C and I have both have the same aviation bug. Like we've been bitten by the aviation disease, so to speak. It's a really good disease. You made one. All right. So Heavy C has the star next to the handle there. Heavy C is a member of this channel, which is also a brand new perk, which is also, by the way, something I've started and I need to do a better job of keeping up with. But I'm also having this members only section. I'll make videos, we'll do side commentary. It'll all be members only. But I want to promise you, If you don't join the members only section, have you noticed any difference in the channel? Because the members only has been around for about a week now, week and a half. You haven't noticed anything different, right? So if you're just on the public side, the channel will not change. But if you jump in the members only section, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a lot more interactive. Heavy C, you know I appreciate you. That's never changed. So it says let's celebrate their 3rd super on the live stream. How do I celebrate that? I guess I'm clicking on it like it's supposed to do something here, but it's not doing it. It's supposed to like pop up and make balloons or something. I got to fix this live chat thing. It is my setup and the way that I put comments on the screen. It used to work perfectly. That's not it. It used to work perfectly, but now it's definitely having some issues. All right, where were we in the live chat here? I know I'm so far behind. Felix checking in again. Speaking of the Logan injury, do you think NHL teams need to stop being so damn cryptic? Tell me how you really feel, Felix. Actually, I agree with you. About injuries, including the Sharks organization, it's not just them. Trust me, it's not just them. I mean, most other teams, I think, aren't as cryptic. No, they absolutely are. And it's not really the teams and the organizations. It's the head coaches and the coaching staffs, right? A team can drastically change how they feel about this or that based on, well, here's what the coaches want. Coaches in the NHL have so much power about those types of things. Not everything, but those types of things. And Felix, I 100% agree with you. And I'm kind of surprised. Like the NFL, the biggest sport out there right now, they'll literally tell you, player X did this at practice today, and he is questionable for Sunday, or he's probable, or he's likely, or whatever. But the reason that the NFL does that is because betting is so important to them that they can't have people making wagers and being kind of in the dark. But in the NHL, they still haven't come around to bringing all of this to light. And the reason why they're so secretive, so cryptic, as you say about it, is because they are still in this barbarian state of worrying about the opponent players targeting your injury. Brazil has a bad left shoulder. Well, guess who's going to throw a bunch of body checks on Brazil's left shoulder? The other team. They know. Players are going to run me specifically on this side to try and make sure I can't lift my arm anymore above the shoulder, which stinks. I mean, that information is exposed in the NFL. Our running back has a bad right ankle. Well, if I'm a linebacker on the other team and I tackle you, what do you think I'm going to do to your right ankle? So it happens. I mean, the NHL is just so scared of that. Now, granted, maybe they have absolute reason to be. But maybe that's a paranoia that has existed now for a couple decades, and we're past it. We should be past it. And I think, Felix, I know why you're asking. You're asking from the fan perspective. Because it's not fair to the fans to look at a player and go, what? Are they not good anymore? Oh, wait, they have a dislocated shoulder? Oh, they're playing with 3 broken fingers? This is all stuff you find out after the season is over. A lot of this stuff, by the way, these are things I find out in the circle of trust, or just find out, and I not as much recently, but back in the day when I was really in tight and around the team on an everyday basis, you find things out. And it's not fun and it's not fair to know that, oh man, this person is suffering so much and they're not themselves and it's not the same. You can't really talk about it because it's not out there anywhere else, but you find out about it. And this is not, by the way, this is not unique to me. This is across the NHL. Like I said, I know you're isolating it on the Sharks because you follow them the most and you're paying attention to that the most, but this happens everywhere with players, with media, with injuries and the cryptic nature of it. So it's definitely not unique to the Sharks, and they're not even the worst about it. Trust me. But I can't say I've ever favored it. But here's the other thing. It can't just be one team saying, okay, we'll tell you. Every team across the board has to be held to that same standard. If one team does it, every team's got to do it. Every team's got to be honest about it. Like literally there have to be penalties if you're lying if you're found lying about this stuff, because teams will lie. Oh, yeah, he's got a broken fingernail. No, it's a broken left elbow. You know what I mean? Like, they'll start disclosing wrong things on purpose. Yeah, what's an upper body injury? It's a sprained ankle. What's a lower body injury? It's a broken nose, you know? Yeah, it's frustrating. Really hard to cover sports and be honest with our viewers when nobody really knows half the time. All right, let's see what we got here. Oops, I changed. Oh, I can change it to a top chat view. Some messages, such as potential spam, may not be visible. I don't think anybody's spamming me here yet on the live chat. All right, let me see where we are at here. Auburn Catfish wants to know, how badly is Manfred messing up baseball? I feel like baseball lately takes a couple tiny steps forward and then like a really big step back. The A's situation, and honestly, the Rays situation and the Royals situation, none of these things are pleasant. You shouldn't have, I feel like between the White Sox, the Royals, the A's, the Rays, noticing a trend here, it's all American League teams. You really shouldn't have all these teams threatening relocation or even talking about it or mentioning it. I know the Angels are probably looking for a new stadium and location or to fix up around Angel Stadium soon. Like that's an epidemic. And you know what else? You now, and I'm going to make a video about this in the near future, you have minor league teams now that have minor league ballpark standards. And now these teams are holding their local cities and counties and municipalities. They're holding them accountable to say, well, we need $20 million, otherwise we're leaving. What? You just change the rules all by yourself and then say, well, if you don't give us the money, you're gone? So it's, again, I think that the threatening stuff to the fans is not good. I will give baseball credit. I think they've done a lot of things right in the last handful of years. I still liked watching pitchers hit. I'm a weirdo about that. So I don't know about the DH in the National League, but the pitch clock, the pitch timer, I think that went off pretty well for the first go around. I think they got that right. They cut the games down by about a half hour. I think that also with the amount of disengagements, I think promoting stolen bases more in baseball, I think that's been a good thing. Taking away the shift, I don't know that it really affected the game. It's not ugly. I think it was an ugly game with the shift. A couple people I've talked to lately have said that, and I've like, that is absolutely the way to describe it. Baseball was like ugly with the shift. Felt like you were cheating, even if it really wasn't, and every team did it. So again, baseball has done some good. They've done more in the last 10 years to try and change the game, improve the game, like playoff format, more wild card teams. I think they've made more positive changes in the last 10 years than they did in the prior 50. Baseball didn't change for a long time. That being said, there are so many things, like the fact that there's still blackouts, like you can't watch any team, any game from any city, and it's so hard to watch stuff, or that baseball limits the footage that gets out there and the highlights. They are still so backwards about some things that just hold them back from, honestly, will they ever catch up to the NBA? Will they ever catch up to the NFL in our lifetime? That's crazy. I truly feel like when I was growing up, baseball was probably number one. Basketball and football were close, and maybe at times they leapfrogged each other, and maybe baseball wasn't always number one. But to me, in the last decade, it's clear 100%. Baseball has not been number one, has definitely not been number two. The NFL and the NBA take those crowns. Baseball's a hard three right now. And honestly, if you're talking about like Premier League soccer, or I know there's a lot of NASCAR fans or F1 fans, auto racing fans. There's a lot of different sports like right after that. My point is baseball for sure bigger than all those? I guess we were just talking about the major four pro sports in North America. 5 probably including MLS, but yeah, that's not a good thing. You've got an elder audience, a very specific elder demographic of baseball viewers. You've got to figure out a way to make it more interesting and more compelling to a young audience. And trust me, I'm one of those dudes getting older, and I'm here to tell you, you got to go younger than this, a lot younger than this for your next fan base. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, Francisco. Yeah, you were talking about, with the coaching changes at the NFL and college level. I mean, Nick Saban and Pete Carroll. That's amazing to me. I felt like he would earn his retirement. Like he would say, I'm stepping away. And instead, it sounds like he's being dismissed. And maybe he'll stay with the organization in some capacity. But I guess a certain amount of that is to be expected. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, those changes you're right. It has been a busy week about that. I forget what your original question was, but I think teams and leagues and sports, they seem to go through waves of change, and maybe sometimes it's just a comfort thing. And obviously, an SEC coaching change and an NFL coaching change have I say they have nothing to do with each other, but maybe one person is going to try for the other job, or vice versa. But I really feel like, in a way, leagues and teams look at each other and go, "Wait, they just made that move. How would that look on us? We're struggling? Should we try that?" There's kind of like safety in numbers type thing. So again, I don't know if that's the driving force of what's happening here, but I think there is some truth to that. Kevin asking, do you believe Farhan is doing a good job overseeing the Giants? And I know that's a very pointed question right now, as those top list of free agent players go here and there. Well, here and here and here. That's the Dodgers, and then some over there. Sorry, from now on out, they're going to be known as the Los Angeles Deferrals. It's going to literally say deferrals across their chest. You really have to separate, I think, what everybody else is doing versus what the Giants have and have not done. It's a matter, I think, of is it just to land one of the big names? Because would that satisfy everybody? Or let me ask you, let me put it this way. With Jung Hoo Lee already in, and with the trade for Robbie Ray, like those are nice moves, nice maneuvers. So you've got a free agent signing, an international free agent signing, and a pretty big name trade. You've got a Cy Young caliber pitcher that you just traded for. Now he's got the Tommy John surgery. He's recovering from that. I don't even know. The Mariners said, by the way, that Robbie Ray would be all-star break at the best at some point late last season. But I think what's crazy about this, all Farhan needs to do at this point, and I say all he needs to do, is land Snell and Chapman, and Giants fans, I think, will say, well, you know what? We didn't want to spend Ohtani money. We would have liked to have had Ohtani, but that contract and the way that thing worked out, that's a heavy one. And Yamamoto is still a very interesting player. Maybe he's the pitcher that the Dodgers are not getting in Ohtani right now, or maybe ever. I don't know if Ohtani ever pitches again. That also is going to be a big part of the future. But this is not about the Dodgers. It's amazing that Farhan is still in this spot where if a couple of these last pieces come together, he could look really good this offseason. And Giants fans are going to go from asking a lot of questions to doing a lot of high fives. I've said Chapman all along, and look, I really like Blake Snell. And I really like the fact that, I mean, now you would have Webb, Ray, and Snell? That's like a playoff rotation right there. You got to get to the playoffs, obviously, but whoa, that rotation would be top-heavy dominant. And I've been saying Chapman this entire time. I don't know. The Giants fans, it seems like there's a mixed feeling on Chappie. Everybody says, oh, the defense is great. We'll take the defense. We just need more. You know, they're still bent on the offense from last season and not scoring enough runs or hardly any runs for a certain stretch of, July and August and into September. But Matt Chapman is a totally different player than maybe the Giants have had in a while. And I'm not here to tell you like I'm hanging out in their clubhouse or I know their guys, but he adds a totally different spice to this Giants group, the type of individual he is. Forget player, just the type of leader he would be to that team. He's also comfortable and very familiar with manager Bob Melvin, who that's another thing. And that was an acquisition. I know people think, well, that's just a job and Bob will fill the manager's job. And like Farhan being there is one of the reasons Bob Melvin is manager of the Giants. And again, Giants fans, you're about to find out how much you love Bo Mel. And if you get Chapman on Bo Mel's team, you're about to find out how much you love Matt Chapman too. I know we're talking in the future here. The question was, has he done a good job overseeing? Like, looking back, I mean, there was the 2021 season. Everybody says, well, 107 wins. How'd you do it? Crawford and Posey were out of their minds. And I get it. The idea of doing openers multiple days per week or pinch hitting in spots where you're like, is this, what? Huh? I get it. Doing what the numbers tell you to do. But attention has been called to that. My point is now we're at a junction of let's let this next year really tell a story. There's a different canvas for the Giants in 2024. Different manager, couple new players at this point, hopefully a few more. And I think if this all plays out and sets up like it could, then I think the answer to this question, well, first off, there won't even be this question because people will be satisfied until they get to the next playoffs, and we'll see how that comes together. It's just, again, it's amazing how the answer to this can be one thing yesterday, can be a different thing today, and in a week from now or 2 weeks from now when more free agents have committed to teams and you see where the Giants stand, this could be a totally better answer too. All right, let's see what else we got here. Is Tomas Hertl the GOAT? From Jonah Bride Enjoyer. Oh man, my worlds are colliding right there. Tomas Hertl's a great dude. Family Guy, not like the show Family Guy, but I remember when the Sharks got him, and initially early on, he was good buddies with Tommy Wingles, and they were like the innocent couple. And if a couple players went out for dinner and some drinks, those two, as they used to call them peas and carrots, those two would be at Dave & Buster's playing skee ball. You know what I mean? Like, that is Tomas Hertl in a nutshell right there. It's been great to watch him evolve. A player who in year one, when he came in and I would do an interview with him and he's not comfortable. I'd have to go really slow on the questions. And, English was not his native language. But look at now here he is kind of default captain of the team this year, representing them at the All-Star game. I'm so very happy for Tomas Hertl. All things like even hockey aside, it's just fun to watch how his career has gone. And the couple knee injuries that he's overcome, there's a lot of feel good. And Jonah Bride enjoyer. I mean, in the same way that you root for Jonah Bride, I'm a Tomas Hertl enjoyer. How about that? It's not my handle, but is this thing actually live? Oh, I see, Heavy C. Why I skipped right to your super chat. Is this finally live? You made it? Yeah, you're here on an actual live stream. Yes, it is. Welcome. Oh, Kevin. What's your favorite In-N-Out order? Kevin, I have something to tell you. I've not had meat in 6+ years, 2017. So, yeah, I've been spotted at In-N-Outs recently. And I get a grilled cheese. And by the way, okay, so that's the answer to that. But I love the In-N-Out fries. But I didn't always love the In-N-Out fries. I get it. Some people will say, oh, they taste like cardboard, this and that. And I get it. It's very basic. The texture of them, the They don't hold up very well. I'll tell you that. Like, you don't want to eat those 3 hours later. First of all, you probably shouldn't, or 6 hours later. But very salty. Sometimes a little bit on the soggier end. Sometimes they're crispy though too. I don't know. I really, really like those French fries. Growing up, I used to love McDonald's French fries. But I want to say this: steak fries, the big fat fries, those are my favorite. But In-N-Out burger fries, those are good too. And a milkshake, of course, I'll have that. But anyway, Jesus, can you make a video of MLB Las Vegas names and colors that Las Vegas people can feel connected to the city rather than the A's? That's a great suggestion. That's not even a question. That's a great suggestion. The thing is, it's not for me to say. If this team, the Oakland A's, does move and relocate to Las Vegas, I mean, if you're polling Las Vegans right now, what would you rather do? Keep the name? Change the name? I think it's overwhelming that they would change the name. And some people will look at me and say, well, what do you care? If they're gone, it's a done deal. Well, there is something certain and special about keeping a name in Oakland for future use, potentially, number one, but also so that when you're watching sports, like any good sports fan would do, and the Las Vegas A's come on the screen, it saves a lot of TV screens from not having to be shattered, if that makes sense. It's like maybe if you were married and you shared a last name with your spouse, and then that spouse took their last name or your shared last name and continued it on to a new marriage. Has that ever happened? I don't know why that would. Does that make sense? Like, at least it takes part of the scarring process that would happen in Oakland, and at least it heals it a little bit, knowing that, okay, at least the A's hat, the jersey, the mementos that are special to you, you can still feel somber and frustrated about it, but you don't necessarily have to burn it or throw it away. I'm really curious what A's fans around here will ultimately do with all of their paraphernalia that they've acquired over the years. Some of it's too special to discard, but you probably never look at it the same. So yeah, part of it is saving a future space and potential for that. Another part of it is simply making it more convenient to remain a fan so that you won't have to look at Las Vegas and Major League Baseball and kind of have those ill thoughts watching green and gold in some place you never thought it would be. Felix wants to go away from sports. You did a video playing with ChatGPT once, if you recall. Yes, I did do that. Also did so on a live stream. How amazed and horrified are with you at the future of AI? Be honest. I like AI that can write code for people or do things that the average human can't. In a way, though, it kind of levels the playing field that somebody who works so hard to learn how to code something can just be surpassed by some other person who's like, hey, ChatGPT, write up some PHP code for me. Or that's the thing, right? I'll tell you what is also, I don't know if it's horrifying, but what if I'm not real right now? And no, I'm not like that viral video of the person on the airliner getting off. Like, that's not, but no, like, what if I'm not real right now? What if all of this is a hologram and it's been programmed? Because eventually a hologram might host your favorite pre and post game show for your favorite team. Why not? It looks better than me. It speaks more perfectly than me. It also works for free. Well, no, you probably have to buy the software and the license, but it's a one-time fee. You can use it for 100 years. You can upgrade it. You can update it. You can have a whole panel of experts and hosts and experts that they're flawless and they don't complain and they show up every day. And so long as the internet works and they don't crash, like the computer doesn't crash, I'm a little terrified that somebody's going to experiment with that. I heard in radio that they're experimenting with AI DJs. So like music stations. So they kind of give it a script, and somebody could just type this out for 10 different stations across the country and be like, well, hey, that was the latest band, whatever they're called, with your favorite song. It's 10:44 in the morning. You're listening to WGAS. Back to the hits, right? So there's your DJ. But that's not even a real human's voice. They didn't even pay a human to do that. And they're doing the first ever artificial intelligence DJs. And the interesting part is that those DJs can announce the proper time, say the proper weather, tell you the song that's coming up, and they don't even have to do much work. They've got it pre-programmed. Maybe there's some like corny one-liner jokes. Anyway, I worry about that. I do worry about the technology is going to get so good that they're going to try and replace humans as broadcasters. With that said, I challenge any one of you dumbass robots to try and resonate with the audience like a real human being would. I actually think there's going to be not an AI like revolution against it, but I think at some point people are going to say, I prefer like human handcrafted things, like actual human beings. For example, I've used this reference before, like this, some of my equipment here in the studio comes from various places, but like this microphone, it's very expensive, but I will hopefully have it literally for the rest of my life. Like it's an investment. But it's made by hand. It comes from a company called Neumann. They're out of Germany, but all the microphones they make are by hand. So not even a robot on an assembly line made this microphone. A real human being sat there and soldered some things up and screwed it on and ran it through some tests. And I guess kind of in the same way, that's my hope with artificial intelligence, is that people will say, yeah, you know what, we could do the AI thing, but it feels kind of cheap and dirty. I'd rather have a real human telling me about the game I just watched. Anyway, that's my thoughts. The hockey guy is a good dude. I totally agree. It was great to have him on the channel. Johnny T says the Giants need to get Trevor Bauer. Hear me out. He'll sign for cheap to get back in Major League Baseball, and you know he'll be playing with a ton of extra fire for whoever signs him. Dude wants to punish people. Nah. The dude's always had a different way of, obviously, relationships and dealing with people and anger and frustration. And I don't know. I mean, I'll put it this way. Somebody would have to make a really, really convincing case. For him and others that are going, again, you can't compare scenarios. They're not all identical, but in Trevor's case specifically, you'd have to uncover everything that's out there and show reason and show remorse and show rights about wrongs. Like you'd really have to, you'd have to cover everything and make a really convincing case, for me at least, that he should be allowed to. I mean, look, hey, you want to go play professional baseball, make a bunch of money? Go play overseas. It's fine. Go play in the new. Is it the new league in Dubai? Was that even a league really, or that's just exhibition baseball? Whatever. Just go. You can still make. Nobody's stopping you from having a career in something. But I don't know that the overwhelming case has been made. He can't just come back, do 10 interviews, all planned. I'm sorry. I've learned a lot. I've grown. That's cool. And that's great. I don't know that you instantly get to go right back to that when we haven't even sorted it out yet. Has it all been sorted out? And this is not an angle that I follow literally every day, but you got to show me that this is sorted out before it could even be considered. And just real quick, The part about getting him cheap back in Major League Baseball, I couldn't care less about that. I don't care if he makes the league minimum of 700,000 something or 7 million or 70 million or 700 million. Whatever. It's not really about that. And great, he'll be playing with a chip on his shoulder. You know who else plays with a chip on his shoulder? Every other Major League Baseball player who didn't get every single thing they want in their career. They're all pissed off at somebody for something along the line. Bauer is the exact type of player the Giants need right now. Get some attitude back on the team. Some Bumgarner vibes. If you want the right vibes, go get Matt Chapman. I think Trevor Bauer is a totally different set of vibes. Dark Knight Driver. I appreciate you too. Who's your favorite A's starting pitcher of all time? Yours is Seabass. Well, you know who Chris Bassett's favorite starting pitcher of all time is for the Oakland A's? Dave Stewart. You know who mine is? Not Dave Stewart. No, I'm just kidding. Come on now. Nobody take that clip and edit that part out and then not show Stu the rest of it. No, honestly, I loved watching Stu. So it's hard for me because that's where my baseball fandom began, late 80s, early 90s. So, of course, Stu and Bob Welch and Mike Moore. I mean, then you got the big three, Sonny Gray. I've had some really good starting pitchers for the Oakland A's over the years. But Chris Bassett, you know what? In recent times, totally see why you'd say that. That dude was a hard worker, a healthy sweater. He always seemed to be sweating bullets by 2 outs in the second inning. And it's cold out. This dude's dripping. I loved his mechanics that weren't maybe technically fundamental. Still like watching him play. Love watching him do interviews. He's so open and honest. I like Bassett on and off the field. I just like the way he handles himself. Pioneer League, this is a long time ago. This shows you how far behind I am in the chat. Pioneer League has streaming service for their games. So there you go. Heavy C is going to check out the Ballers when they're out there in Boise. How far is the NBC Bay Area from your house? The studio? It's either a 40-something minute drive, or tonight it was an hour and 20. It was really hard getting on the bridge for some reason, coming home. So it's a healthy commute. It's a couple podcasts away. But I'm pretty used to that drive. Paul Davis, better song. Do I know you, Paul? You look very familiar. Is that really Ted Lasso? I think it looks like Ted Lasso right there. Just kidding. I know Paul. I'm going to go with mustard and mayonnaise. How about sprinkle me? Do you really want to go down this road with me? I'll stop right there. But One Love was the L, the O, the V. Okay, whatever. Earl Stevens. You want to talk about goats? Earl Stevens is the goat. Good to see you, Paul. You shouldn't be here, Paul. You should be doing something more productive with your time. Oh, Irvine Cattle Ranch. I too want a members only jacket. Who's talking about a members only jacket? I was just thinking this the other day. Members only jackets are, it's a very, is it set in the 80s, right? For sure 80s. It wasn't 70s. I want the little cuffs, collar and the little members only tag. I don't have one. It's time to get one. It's time to have the YouTube channel buy that for me. Why did you get that? Well, it got mentioned in a live chat. That's such a random comment, but it's so amazing. And by the way, Irvine Cattle Ranch, there's a member. Oh, maybe you were saying for the members only section, you want a members only jacket because you are a member. There's your meme. Just put it together. All right. All right, Matt asking a very detailed question here. Do you consider John Fisher a person that is difficult to work with? First off, how would I know? I've never spoken to him. Only seen him in person from a distance. It's possible I've been in the same room at the same time, but a lot of times, how would I know? Not that I don't know what he's ever looked like, is that he just maintains such a low profile. What I'm getting at is if he doesn't work with the Oakland City officials very well, will he also have issues with people in Las Vegas? Over time, maybe. I'm aware of the saying that zebras don't change their stripes. But I also think the real, let me just sum it up with this, and it's not just Mr. Fisher, it's the entire scope of what the A's do and what has happened here. And they say that they've tried. Like, that's been the comment. That's been the one, like, active verb in all this. We tried. I don't know. Oh, sorry, that's my son maybe waking up. I don't know what trying is defined as. And to me, trying to keep a team in Oakland, if it was my responsibility, and I'm somebody who's from here and I get the weight on my shoulders, like, I'm literally going to try so hard. But if it's not going to work, I'm literally going to show you the math and say, not only can you trust me and then I've tried everything, here's exactly why it didn't come together. Now, I don't think that second part we've had the answer to. The first part we've heard, we tried. Okay, all right. I think that's the bare minimum of what people would expect. But how can you prove that you tried? Again, that's where I would come at it from if I was in the shoes of, well, I've got no other choice. And here's exactly why it didn't work, and here's exactly how short we were, and here's exactly the sequence of events, and here's my math. Here's everything I've got. And so again, I'm not going to even get into the personal side. That would not be fair. I can't estimate or gauge. Quite honestly, people who've met him and talked to him have said they had a good interaction. But in terms of the long game, yeah, and a working relationship, and I think it's really what does trying look like, and then how quickly does trying turn into, well, this isn't happening. We're going to go do something else. I think that's probably the other, part to consider here is when there was pushback. Like, did the city of Oakland or the county of Alameda, there was pushback at certain times with Howard Terminal. But was there ever like insurmountable pushback? Did the EIR get turned down? Did the BCDC not approve port priority use? I mean, I know, like, going back to, July of 2021, there was a term sheet, but that the city did their own term sheet. But again, like, there was nothing that was a door that just shut closed on the A's. So again, I go back to trying. And it seems like the A's are really trying in Las Vegas. But to your point, and they haven't encountered any hurdles or difficulties at all, like no pushback. In fact, quite the opposite. So maybe that's the difference in the relationship. But if there ever is pushback, or if it comes to a situation of trying, at least that's the observation so far in Oakland, at least that side of it, that the trying part really can't be defined or proven to any great detail. Let's see what else we got here. Hope the A's never won a World Series in Vegas. I mean, there's a lot of things that don't compute for me about it. How you'd make money, how you'd turn around and spend all that money. Yeah. Connor Akers, have you seen any of what Ahmed Fareed has been doing since he hit the big time at NBC Sports? He did? He hit the big time? I'm teasing so much. No, what's cool and crazy is that, obviously working at NBC Sports and being a sports person myself, quite often I'll have like the big NBC channel on our television or an NBC produced sporting event. And I'm like, oh, Ahmed, hey buddy, how's it going? And a lot of times it's sports and events that I didn't expect to see him on. Horse racing, rugby. I know he's been doing some, I don't say fill in, but he's assumed a little bit of a new role in the NFL side of things. I'm thrilled for Ahmed. I really am. It was a pleasure to work alongside him for, I don't know, a handful of years here in the Bay Area. He's not from here, but I'm glad that we crossed over. And I think he's a little bit older than me. But I think what was cool about it is I could look at somebody else in a similar spot and trajectory. And obviously he had, bigger ambitions and went to work for big NBC. And by the way, I hope Ahmed sees this someday. If he doesn't, I'll text him a link to this part. But what's cool is I could look over across the room and say, oh, that's somebody kind of like me, but not me, different way. They've gotten here in a different way and they're a different person. But I really respect how they handle themselves, how they prepare, how they approach things, their creativity. Ahmed and I we started doing when Facebook was big and Facebook Live was brand new. We started a little streaming program called Top 3. He and I did it from my house. It wasn't even in this home studio yet. This was 2015 and or 16 maybe. It was great. And I purposely, and I had the idea for this project. I really kind of wanted to push it in his direction. He was somebody I seeked out. I tried to get to work with because I thought we would work well together. So of course I've seen it, and of course I enjoy it. I mean, I'm not surprised. He's really good at what he does. Good delivery, presentation. He's like me in a sense that we don't take ourselves too seriously. So I haven't talked to him as much as I probably should, or just keeping up with him. But I do. And I forgot to mention the whole Sunday morning baseball on Peacock. That's such a cool package. It's a Sunday morning special time during the baseball season. It's the early game. It gets its own window. So I kind of miss the old days of This Week in Baseball. And I know that's what they try and do with their pregame coverage. They try and make it a baseball show that's on before a specific game. All right, let's see what we got here. Manuel Hernandez, late to the stream. No, you're good. We're going to be on for a while. Nate G enjoying the halfway report video that I put out today on the Sharks. Yeah, and I know on this channel some things do better than others. I know that one's going to just do okay. But I want to do the service. I'm not doing everything here for the metrics. I'm not all about every single view or whatever. Ultimately, the channel needs to grow. Ultimately, I want that for all the viewers here and things I can do for you as a subscriber of the channel. But this type of stuff, it's who I am. It's what I'm passionate about. It's my job right now. So definitely want to do that justice. A's upper management really reminds me of the Chargers and St. Louis Rams attempts in their towns before leaving. And it's amazing to hear all those stories and what people went through here and there. And now you're like, well, I'm going to go back and do a little bit. I knew what the Chargers were doing and I heard about it. And the same thing with the St. Louis Rams. But now to actually put some detail and some connection to it, it's unfortunate, right? I wish no franchise and fan base had to go through that. Average Joe, I wish you were my regional sports reporter. Thank you for not saying local broadcaster. I'm very regional. I'm just kidding. I respect your opinion so much. We don't have realists like you in my market. Well, Average Joe, where are you at? Let me just move. How about virtually? Or how about they can clone me? AI can clone me and I'll be in your market. Thank you for saying that, though. And I'm trying to, I appreciate your compliment. I take it as humbly as possible, but I do take it. And I do appreciate that. That things like that really do mean a lot to me. Hi, Brody. How are you? All right, let's see what's going on here because I feel like the old live chat. Oh, yeah, it froze and then I skipped a bunch, didn't I? Yeah, Christian's a no on Bauer. Zella Zoom, hey, Brody, love the show. Me and you could not be more opposite. My name is Brody with a Y. I'm a Dodgers fan on the East Coast, but we look strangely similar. Thoughts on what the Dodgers are making? Is there more to that? It just says thoughts on what the Dodgers are making. They're not breaking the rules. They're spending money. They're trying to compete. They're fixing up their stadium. They're doubling down on their location. They're not trying to move away from Los Angeles. What am I supposed to say? You know, I don't know. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but don't hate the player, hate the game. So yeah. Now, moving away from Brooklyn. Oh, let's talk about that for a second. Now that I'm really ticked off about relocation, any team that's ever moved is bad. Timothy is still not happy about Bauer. Watch the King of JUCO's videos with him featured. Dude sounds like a meathead. Never let him in your dugout. Yeah. When I worked at Best Buy, my coworkers would call me E40. Is that true, Eric? Are you a 40 Fonzarelli aficionado? Ooh, 40 Fonzarelli aficionado. Yeah. There you go. With the karaoke stream, OG 40 Wada. How do we get on this E40 talk? What? We got to get E40 on the YouTube channel. I know some people that know Earl. I've interviewed him before. Back on the radio on 95.7 The Game back in the day. Brody, are you thinking about interviewing A's legends or revisiting key moments in A's history over the course of this season? And, that's a long handle right there. HHSCG Football JPD. I think I know the reason you're asking is because potentially 2024 is the final season of A's baseball at the Coliseum in Oakland. It's possible. We don't know one way or the other. I think the answer to that is maybe yes. But the real part about it, what I would like to do is go out to the Coliseum and just tell the story of fans who are out there, fans that want to meet up and tell me about, and just have a moment. Like I literally think a good segment would be, I'll sit next to you for a half inning. I'll sip my beer, you sip yours. A half inning's not long enough. And you just tell me your story about why you wanted to come here and just spill it out, and we'll put it on TV. I feel like maybe giving fans a ton of airtime in 2024 might be really refreshing. And normally, under most circumstances, I don't know that fans find other fans like super engaging, or they're all like, I don't know if that's always what the viewers want to see, but in this case, because of this storyline, here you go. Here's the mic. I'll keep the conversation going, but you just tell me say what you want to say right now. Maybe in just emotions and feelings and frustrations and shed some tears if you have to. Have a smile if it just makes you happy to be out here. Eh? Fans and employees that work out there, people that are ushers, security guards, people that work concessions. I think that might be something cool to feature this year. Let them get the airtime that they've always deserved. It's like the end of a play when every cast member comes out there and does a bow. Well, maybe let's make it that. So not just the stars get the bow, but everybody gets their moment. Connor, what sports-related YouTube channels do you watch? Hey, I'm a big Foul Territory fan. Did everybody see my my appearance on there? I to be perfectly honest, I like the hockey guy, and I like Foul Territory, and I follow some other local sports broadcasters and their channels. Saw Damon Bruce at the Monterey Bay Aquarium the other day. Literally just ran into him. Like, what? I watch a little bit of what Larry Krueger does. It's interesting to see what other people like myself are doing with their YouTube space. And of course I'm interested. I know another one. This is another one that I watch as much as anything else. Deuce and Mo. They cover the Sacramento Kings. I watch actually more channels and sports-related videos about teams that I don't like firsthand cover. I just want to know what other people are saying about them. There's a few others too. I should, you know what I should do? I should actually make this into a video. So I don't want to answer this question right here, right now, Connor. I don't like, or I kind of have, but I don't want to like say these are my only answers. what you've inspired me to do is a totally separate video where I just spell out, hey, here's 10 YouTube channels that I like to watch, and here's why. You know what? I'm going to put that one in the books. Pioneer 863. Watching Brody at 12:35 a.m. Gotta love retirement. Well, you're out east, and you don't have to wake up early tomorrow. Congratulations to you. I remember the days of being a lot younger and a lot more free to stay up late at night. 12 midnight for me used to be the baseline of like, hey, you might want to think about going to bed now. It's time to start thinking about winding down. Now that time is like 10, and we're 47 minutes past 10 here out west. My son will wake up early tomorrow, and I'm walking him to school. So, all right. Did I reach, like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here with the chat. It seems like the chat literally, nope, there it goes. There it goes. I thought I reached the end, and then I just have to refresh it. Something going on with it. Deuce and Mo player interviews are great. I just love their thoughts, their passion. It totally comes across about the Sacramento Kings. You have the largest DFS sports channel on YouTube? Skywalker, I have an admission. I don't know what DFS stands for. Kings beat with James Ham. Oh, the hammer. Pasta of my domain. Thank you for suggesting that one. Y'all should have a little feature about the folks on your NBC Sports team this year, since it might be the last year. And that, Chris, thank you for being a member. Honestly and obviously, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I almost want to focus on the most. I want to take every minute of airtime and say, here's the game. It is what it is. But here, let's have this real moment. Let's really do the segment that we want to do. Love the A's coverage from you and Casey Pratt this past year. Do you guys get along okay? Are you worried, Dan? Casey, gosh, I haven't texted with Casey since, let's see, what was the last time? 11:06 this morning. Yeah, we get along just fine. I've known Casey very long time, way before A's stadium stuff got real deep in the mud. But yeah, there's another channel, and I remember when Casey said, I think I'm going to do a little bit more on YouTube. And I was like, you should. I'm already here. It's worthwhile. There's another sports channel I obviously follow, but usually I get a heads up on, I'm working on this, or we communicate quite a bit. But make sure you follow Casey's channel for sure. Brian Peck, I want to know about more outside voices and what they are saying about this A's debacle as well. And I've tried to seek the national media. I did a little bit of that at winter meetings, and I think kind of the hard part is to really have a valued opinion on the situation. You need to be well informed to a certain degree. And I know some people will say, well, the more informed you are, maybe the more influenced you are. But I quickly find out how knowledgeable somebody is about details, because I'll bring up maybe a finer point and then kind of understand, do you know what I'm talking about? Or what do you think about that part? It's not fair to ask somebody who likes visiting Las Vegas or has no connection to Oakland, or, you know what I mean? They're distant to all this, distance from it. It's not fair to ask those people and say, well, what's your opinion? Because I really value what you say. It should be somebody that has a stake in this, or has at least done has no stake in this. That's fine too, but has done so much research that they undeniably understand the situation. So when you say outside voices, I don't always know that comes with the proper knowledge that people on the inside have. That being established, show me one or a bunch, but honestly, no, just show me one person from Oakland or from California, Northern California, or even there's a lot of people in Las Vegas. Show me one person who understands this fully and says, you know what, I'm totally with this. I think this is a great idea. There's no reservations about this whatsoever. Even the people who are for this, like in Las Vegas, and only see it like with blinders on, like I'm getting my Major League Baseball team, even they always have one or two reservations. Like, you should have no reservations about this. It should literally be, if you're in Las Vegas, it should literally be like this. I am bringing you chocolate cake. I assume most people like chocolate cake. Or I'm bringing you your favorite type of cake. You shouldn't be sitting there worried about the ingredients or the cost or whatever. Like, is it poisonous? I'm bringing you chocolate cake. You're going to get a Major League Baseball team, hypothetically. But almost everybody down there, and even, again, the people who are totally for this, they seem to have even three things in the back of their mind. I like this, but I don't like this part. Well, we'll see about that part. So, like, I have to sneeze really bad right now. Is it going to happen? You know what's crazy? I've never sneezed on television. Like, I've never done, well, how long have I been streaming here for? Hour 36. I've probably been on for like an hour 25. But I've never okay, now the sneeze has gone away. I've never, achoo, during a TV show. Never done it. Your body like shuts that off for some reason, like during a show. It's weird. But right now I've got like that tickle. I could force it if I want to. I don't really want to. I got a lot of members here in the chat. Welcome to exclusive access, Eric. Thank you for doing that. Eric, I really do appreciate that. Skywalker became a member. Welcome to exclusive access, Skywalker. And then one more, maybe? Oh, uh-oh, what in the world? Oh, it broke. Hang on a second. Let's try refreshing this. Yeah, so I need the upgrades. I certainly need the upgrades here. Let me try this again. Restore the chat. Da-da-da-da. All right, let's try this again. Can we do... There we go. SG Sports Talk channel. Welcome to exclusive access. I really do appreciate that. I broke the internet. I just broke my live text thing here. It's a great little setup. It's been acting very wonky lately. Like it doesn't, when I click on it, it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. Make sure you move away from the mic like Tay Zande did back in the early YouTube days. What? Move away from the mic? Was I getting too close? Colin, been really appreciating the Giants coverage. Thank you. Maybe a side of you switching sides once the A's leave the Bay. Oh, a little wink and a laugh. Well, what is it, a wink or a laugh? That's going to really change the tune here. Look, I don't know. Here's what I do know. On the YouTube channel, I very much kept it to Sharks and A's over the years. It made sense. But for the long term and considering what I do, and I'm trying to build the audience, and I'm assigned these things to do at work. And granted, a lot of them I have personal connections and ties to, but the same would be applicable to the Warriors. I grew up watching a ton of Warriors games. I've got photos of me as a kid at Candlestick Park, going to some Giants games too. I'm a Bay Area person, right? So what I do for work and what people tie me to, yes, there's a reason for that. And I've worked really hard on those angles, but to think that I would not start making Giants videos, I've said for the last year, I'm going to start doing more of it. And now I've really started to do more of it. And I'll tell you the one big connection, like as soon as Bob Melvin came over, like that's my dude. How do I even say this? That I think it makes sense. That alone makes me interested in following how this upcoming season goes. and the future of their team and what they put together. Of course. So thank you for saying that. I know some people have mixed feelings and emotions, and they think I'm leaving them or ditching them. I mean, I'm trying to make this very clear. I'm trying to go the extra mile for Oakland A's fans. On all of this situation, you realize I don't have to cover any of this stuff. I could just pretend I could just do that. I could do this. Nope, not happening. That's the approach of some, right? That's not my approach. But at the same time, you know, I want to do stuff that's interesting, and I don't want to limit the amount of material. Again, you don't see me making Minnesota Twins videos. Not yet. Maybe someday. But at this point, the Giants here locally, they interest me. And so I'll be making videos. I don't know, to a certain degree and amount, but thank you for saying that, because I honestly I've seen this sentiment. I've also seen some of the other sentiment, like you're abandoning us. No. I'm just doing multiple things at once. So thank you for saying that, Colin, and hang in there. Colin, we've talked before, right? Yeah, we absolutely have. This is where you need David Sampson's cough button. Oh, you mean for the sneeze? Like I can go. Sorry, nobody wanted to hear that. I have the ability to mute myself. Like I can take the mute off, and then I can put the. I can do that. Has anyone told you at times you sound like Casey Kasem? Not necessarily. At number 5 on the countdown, we've got Taylor Swift. What's the name of the song? I don't want to play it here. I'll get in trouble. But it's Me, Hi, I'm the Problem. Anti-Hero. Yeah. At number 5 on the countdown, it's Taylor Swift with Anti-Hero. Why do you kind of look like... Can somebody screenshot this? Here, can someone do me a favor? Somebody screenshot this and then put it on Twitter and then tag me and then send it to all your friends. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Can I move? That's not true. I don't look like the great one. Someone clip that mute on off clip. See, I'm doing all the things that'll turn into GIFs right now. Okay, here's another one. Ready? Oh. Ah! It's getting late. It's about that time. Eric, I'm almost 32 and I don't know who he is. Bay Area kids understand. I was born a Giants fan, but always had love for the A's too. Still do. You know what? It's one of those things where, and people have asked me that question, do you want to do something over there? Let's see how this all goes. At this point, everything's on the table. Absolutely everything's on the table. The things that have been unfolding, I could have never predicted, or at least never thought they would come to fruition. And so maybe some other things I never would have expected come to fruition. We'll see how it goes. All right. I'll support you no matter where you end up. Oh, thank you, Average Joe. You know, I never saw what your location was. Where are you, Average Joe? Are you San Diego? I miss Bob Melvin, great coach. Because hey, you could talk me into being in San Diego. Okay, now that did sound like Casey Kasem. That did sound like Casey Kasem. It's America's Top 40. I'm Casey Kasem. You're right. That did sound like him. Okay, so here's the other trippy thing. I think Casey Kasem used, like, not this actual mic, but this same model of mic. It's a very popular radio DJ mic. I wonder how Billy Beane feels about the A's leaving. It's interesting, right? We have not heard at all those sentiments. I don't know that we've heard much from Billy since really even 2021 when the drama started to get thick and the parallel paths was official, and maybe the absence of commentary would lead you to believe that wanting no part in something must mean that there's not really an endorsement for it. I don't want to put those words in anybody's mouth, but I do find the absence and the silence. I mean, he's not with the A's in the same capacity as he used to be. He's not the general manager. David Forst is. David Forst runs the baseball ship over there. And he has spoken about this. Quite honestly, you should check out my Instagram right now. David Forst, I mean, I guess I could play it on the screen. That's kind of tacky, but David Forst said something which I thought was, well, I'll let you find it here on my Instagram, but he talked about it, just the situation and not being able to sign free agents. So head towards my Instagram and check that one out. But I put up a clip on there where he basically said, like, the unknown of all this is like killing our team and trying to put together, free agents, but also people that work for the team and the unknown, and everybody in the Bay Area is like, they just can't compute this. So David's obviously had to comment. He's the active GM, but somebody like Billy just doesn't need to, take that opportunity if he doesn't want it. And so the fact that he doesn't want it, I don't know what that says. Wow, that's a long handle right there. I'm not even going to attempt that. ZAKZ. Okay. Is there a rivalry between NBC Sports Bay Area and NBC Sports California? There is. Have you ever seen the movie Anchorman? When the news teams assemble and they go back out there with tridents and weapons of all kinds? It's not like that. I'll have you know that everybody's under one roof and there's no line in the sand. There's not even the studio. There's two studios. Sometimes one network uses one, the other network uses the other, and vice versa. It literally is the same thing. I know there's two channels and the teams are assigned to the different channels. There's only one operation for us. So I guess if you're seeing that I'm finding this funny, it's because I get that thought process, but it's like the exact opposite of even that. It's not even close. It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me. What's funny is I watched let me see if I can do something cool here. I watched the Taylor Swift. Nobody's good. This sounds like I'm actually in like the bathroom or something. That's a bad one. I watched the entire Taylor Swift concert with my wife. And this sounds like I'm in a stadium. That's too much. She uses like 12 different microphones during the 3-hour concert. I'm like, wait, that's another mic and a different mic? Because I'm like a, production geek. And it's all the same mic, but it's all like one's painted blue, one's painted purple, one's painted pink, one's got like a dragon theme around it, barbed wire and stuff. So that was pretty impressive. Oh, you need Brownie on the Q&A. You know what? Infinite Cool. Let me do this. Let me do this. I'm going to screenshot. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to screenshot. I have the there we go. Perfect. Okay, so I've got, that's not the picture. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll text Brownie that picture tomorrow. I don't want to wake him up. It's too late in Nebraska right now. But I'll text him that tomorrow, and hopefully that will make this happen, right? We should have a catch-up. How you doing? What you been up to? Any words of wisdom? Oh, we already know the answer to that is no. But we will. You know what? Thank you for suggesting that. See, this is why I do the live streams. I love to hear these types of ideas. I guess I had been thinking about this a little bit, but now you saying it is going to make me do it. So we're going to do it. All right, what else we got here? Caker Girl. Ooh, look at Timo, still a shark on your avatar. You're not going to go with the Devils, Timo, huh? You're not running with the Devils? good to have you here. Can't wait to see you in person whenever we cross paths again. Best A's player you have interviewed. Okay, so hang with me here. And there's so many, I'm going to get this wrong. Like there's no one good answer, but from a pure entertainment standpoint, Nick Swisher was the best. We're going back to the 05, 06 Swish days, right? But I mean, just from like that, like you knew I could be boring and I guarantee he'd be great. Like that's, but I don't know that we really got in the baseball deep discussions. It was more about life and stuff in general. Okay. But somebody mentioned Chris Bassett earlier. Okay, that's a favorite. Mark Canha, that's a favorite. Marcus Semien, that's a favorite. Liam Hendriks, that's a favorite. How about manager Bob Melvin, an absolute favorite. So I value a couple different things. I value interviewees who are honest and open and have a way of explaining things and making them sensible, and they're not trying to hide stuff from you. That's one part of it. So that's what most of those names fall under. But like from the entertainment perspective, like Nick Swisher was just he's so full of energy. We had our own segment. In fact, we won an Emmy Award for it back in the day. I remember presenting him with it. He couldn't go to the Emmys that night it was won or whatever, but our TV station, Channel 36, they acquired an extra or a statuette for him. I don't know, he was going to get one anyway. Or no, actually, no, I take it back. He wasn't going to get one because they don't give them to maybe like non-members or whatever of the Academy. But you can get an extra one with, the thing on it and just the name. And so I got him one. We acquired it. The station did, and I gave it to him. And yeah, it was pretty cool. So pretty cool. You shagging grounders at the Coliseum was a great save. You know what's funny? I think I might. Hang on one second here. I want to see if I can do this. No, I don't have it. Darn it. I thought I had the clip loaded here. I used to have the Matt Chapman and me doing yeah, I don't have it here. Darn it. I do have a bunch of cool shots of the Coliseum. We could just do this the rest of the live stream. Just watch this loop. So all of these videos, which I'm sure you've seen some of this on the channel before. I went out to the Coliseum one day early in 2019. This video is quite a few years old. But I took what's called a gimbal. It's something called a Ronin. DJI makes it. You put your camera. In fact, it might be the camera that's shooting this right now. You put it on the gimbal, and then it's super smooth. So I can get that kind of low angle shot. No matter what you do, you run around or jiggle the camera. See, look how smooth that is on the ground. It almost looks like a drone is doing that, but it's me kind of walking across. Oh yeah, there's Rooted in Oakland. And that sign's different. So that's the 50-year anniversary version of it, but the current one is still up. I saw it the other day. There's one of the best fields in all of baseball right there. I don't mean the stadium itself. I mean the actual playing surface. Look, Stu's number has not been retired up there yet. That's a trip. Those signs, that arrow, those steps. Iconic. All right, I can't do this too much, otherwise I'm gonna start getting caught up in all the feels. Nick Swisher, wow, we're really going back. Oh yeah, we're really going back. I miss Fox Sports regional networks altogether. That was just a different time. The RSNs are a much different thing now than they ever were. You asked Jose Canseco to come on your show. His agent wanted $1,000. We could text Jose right here. I got his digits. We haven't talked in a while. How sweet would a Lake Tahoe PWHL team be? Yes. Okay. First off, how sweet would any team in Lake Tahoe be? I know they have an ECHL team now, the Las Vegas affiliate. I would only worry that like the PWHL needs a sustained amount of support. They kind of need to just start in the biggest markets to begin with to make sure they do it right and all that stuff. Wait, did I make that camera record up there? What in the world? Sorry. See that red dot? What? Something tripped that off. Okay, hang on a second. I gotta fix that. I gotta fix that because otherwise I'm coming back. Yeah, okay, that's the second time that's happened recently. Like I pointed something at the camera. What did I point over there that made it do that? That made it just start recording like that? That's so trippy. It can't do that, otherwise it'll run out of space and it'll say camera full. And has anybody noticed what I'm going to go back on you know what? I'm going to go back in the recording here and see what made that red dot pop up. Anyway, okay, sorry, back to the question. Yeah, PWHL, like it's just hard to start something that's already new. Eventually, yeah, that'd be fantastic. I just want to make sure they get the support. Oh, Felix with another PWHL question. Why is that not fitting on the screen here? Any thoughts? Have I had a chance to watch any games? Again, if I mentioned this earlier in the stream and you missed it, you'll go back. Thanks for saying that. So I've only watched maybe half a period at a time, and I'll tell you what's cool about it. I love the fact that they are doing all of it on YouTube. They're not skimping out on that. They're not saying, well, we are only on broadcast television. Make this super accessible. And then I watched how many people were also watching the stream. They're up to like 27, 30,000 for some games. Some of the first games at the start of the new year. So like, it goes to show you that that's a pretty good audience. That's probably what a lot of NHL games are being viewed at, audience-wise. Sorry, I saw this comment. Whatever remote I used. Oh, yes. It was this remote. Does this remote start that too? Interesting. You know what? Hi. Thank you for, oh my gosh. You're helping me fix my home studio. So the remote changes the video sources here. I've got a player that like played that Coliseum video. But you're right. As soon as I hit go on that video, it seemed like the camera probably started recording. What a trip. What a trip. All right, actually, you know what? I'm going to set up the cuz I'm probably going to sign off here pretty soon. So I'm going to set this thing to be done in just a bit. I'm playing the rollout video. I'm not there yet. It was the remote. Yeah, you're right. But this is a remote for a video player device, not for the camera, but something tripped the camera. Your setup is now haunted. Rob made it record. Oh, Rob. You're not here, are you, Rob? He sat on the remote. I know we were talking professional women's hockey league, so. But yeah, I love the fact that they're doing top-notch production value on it, and they're putting it on YouTube so that everybody can take a peek at it. I think that's one of the most important things. Don't paywall this stuff. Don't put it so it's hard to find. Make this stuff super easy to watch, super digestible. I think they're doing. I really like what I've seen from the initial, first go around of it. How is Ray Ratto doing, aka the Rat? I don't know. I haven't talked to Ray in a while. Haven't run into him in a while. Haven't seen him in a while. I certainly hope he's doing well. The A's MVP and Cy Young for 2024. I think Geloff, I think he's going to hit 280 this year. I think Esteury Ruiz is going to steal 80 bags this year. Joe Boyle, I'm going to kind of go off the map. JP Sears is probably lined up to have a good season, but Joe Boyle, the 2 starts he made, he was flirting with a no-no in the first one. I really liked what I saw in him. So Mason Miller might be the closer. I don't know. See, then here, it's weird, right? You start getting into this conversation, and then it hits you. And then what? Great team, fun players. Maybe they might turn out to, maybe they'll add, or maybe not, and then maybe they move. That's hard. It's really hard. But welcome to what my life is going to look like for April, May, June, July, August, September, October. All right. You know, Caker Girl, somebody asked me that earlier. I don't know the answer. I do think it's a couple more times this year. It constantly changes. It's not as much as I'd like, but I don't call the shots. Hey, Google, turn on camera recording. No, don't do that. And sorry if that woke up any of your devices. I won't say the SIRI word. Minnesota broke the attendance record twice. Goes to show you how well good women's hockey is doing starting out. No, and to your point, Felix, I was watching, like I said, the number of people on that stream on a couple of the first games that were streamed, and it was pretty, like the numbers, to me, they seem pretty impressive. So, like I said, limit the barriers, put it in front of as many people as possible. That's how you're going to spread the game, inspire more people, get more people interested, and probably get more people out to the games. More people could watch the Live Tour on YouTube than the CW. Yeah, well, I mean, that's the power of the internet, right? And so here's another thing. People were asking me before about covering just the Giants here on this YouTube channel. Like, why shouldn't I cover all the sports that interest me? This is a YouTube channel that can be seen worldwide. I come from this mindset of, I'm a regional broadcaster. I should only cover the regional teams, and only the regional audience will be able to see all this work. You could literally be in Australia right now, Antarctica right now. You could be in Africa, Europe, Asia, like any one of the continents of the world, watching this literally live in HD from my house in California, where it's 11:18 p.m. I got to start thinking about wrapping it up here. But you understand the point is, like, why am I limited? Why am I doing this type of coverage when the whole world is out there? So, Stomper, MVP, and Cy Young. Stomper's in an interesting spot right now, isn't Stomper? Brody, let's be real. The A's have no end game to move. You said it. Yeah, I don't know where things are going. Jamie, get out of here. Get out of here. I'm seriously watching from Siberia right now. Okay. Can anybody else screenshot this, please? Here, I'm gonna hold the. How can I grab my hands around it? There. Huh? I move this hand. Wait, I move this hand a little bit. No, which hand is that one? There we go. There's my screenshot. I'm seriously watching from Siberia right now. I'm broadcasting to freaking Siberia. Let me look up where Siberia is at. This is a new one for me. Oh, there we go. I'm going to go to the old... Let's do that. Let's bring up... how should I do this here? Should I? No, I'm going to actually... Well, I'll just bring it up like this. Siberia is an extensive geographical region comprising all of North Asia, from the Ural Mountains in the west to the Pacific Ocean in the east. It has formed part of the sovereign territory of Russia and its various predecessor states since the centuries-long conquest of Siberia. Holy moly. Well, there's Siberia. That is a trip that you are watching from Siberia right now. Wow. Middle of Russia and Asia. Oh, it's in Mother Russia. Skywalker, thank you so much. You got to do your own show. Hey, game, recognize game. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for becoming a member tonight. Really do appreciate that. AFBOCC. The Eagles have been so bad over the past several games. Why is my... I'm going to move that over. The Eagles have been so bad over the past several games that it allowed one of their fans to become famous in the Philly, Eastern Pennsylvania area. Well, how about the security guy, Dom? What the... How... Touching players on the opposing team and you're a security guy? What was that? It seemed like kind of the demise of their season right there. Not just that game and that result, but like that one specific incident. I saw where'd it go here? Caker Girl. Yeah. Great posing. Would anybody like me to pose with their comment here? How could I? It's weird because I'm in reverse. Ready? There you go. You could freeze frame that, Caker Girl. Do you think Will Smith will be in teal as early as next year? Well, this is a story all about how my life got turned upside down, and I'd like to take a moment just to sit right there and told you how Will Smith may or may not be in teal next year. I'm an idiot. I don't know. That also still seems early. And I think we can look at the trajectory of William Eklund, I think, and also realize that there is such a thing as, okay, you're here, you're early, we know you'll get there. Look at Eklund this year. So much more confident with the puck, much more of a playmaker. Just a better overall game. And it wasn't bad to begin with. There were enough signs to let you know that, okay, he'll be fine. This might just take a few extra years. And he was super early, right? 18 when he barely turned, I think, 18 when he debuted with the Sharks. I think that's, even as the 4th overall draft pick, that's a good question. Colin, I'll do some asking about it, what people inside the Sharks think. Just, and nobody knows for sure. I would estimate probably not, but you never know. Well, and when you say next year, late next season, maybe. So I guess in my mind it was starting next season, but at some point next season, yeah, quite possibly. Brody history and geography YouTube confirmed. Yes, trustworthy Wikipedia. It's just the first thing that pops up on the search. Yeah, that's a good call, Cake Girl. You said it best. That's also true. Didn't know there was that type of access to the internet. Brody, did you see the Banana Man get arrested at the Mississippi State basketball game? I am so frustrated at this. There we go. Maybe that's the reason. Oh, I see. Sorry, my screen is all messed up here. Somebody just said it's Average Joe. Brody, my guy, it's bedtime. LOL. I don't want you to. Yeah, well, get your sleep. You sleeping is way better than hanging out with me, although I do really appreciate it. Jim, Happy New Year's to you. Thank you, Jim. That means so much. Wishing you nothing but success in this year, in your career, and here on YouTube. Keep up the great work. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Jim, for being in the super chat. I'm trying to get a better look at you in that. Looks like you're doing something fun in this little photo right there. But thank you so much for being here and for contributing to the channel and moving forward. I was going to watch an ECW documentary, but I love these live streams. Thanks, Eric. I guess it's nice to know where I stand in your life and your priority list. Ooh, who do you see being the next captain for the Sharks? First off, we got to figure out Logan. And I think there's two ways about Logan. At some point could get traded before the contract ends. I don't know if that's this year, next year, down the line. I also want to make sure that Logan is good to come back and keep playing. Apparently, he talked about the injury that he's got, and he was a bit nervous at one point that he'd never be able to play again. And until he does, I don't want to speculate and I don't want to sound pessimistic, but I want him to know for sure that he feels right and that he can do this. So it's hard to know, like, if you had to do it hypothetically next year, who's your person next year? If you had to do it in 2 years from now, would you know who that person is already? I don't know. I'll say this, though. I'll do a little reverse history. Well, I guess history would all be in reverse, wouldn't it? I'll do a little reverse thinking here. When Logan was much younger, I personally looked at him and said, that guy right there could be a future captain. Now, on the Sharks right now, I don't know if we have identified that person yet. I'm not saying that person is not already in the pipeline or in the franchise. They might be. But I don't know yet if we know that person. Like we knew with Logan. And this is, I think when Jumbo was captain and before Joe Pavelski was captain, I think we kind of knew that Logan someday could take it next. It's a trip. In my time with the Sharks, has it gone from Patty to Rob Blake to Jumbo to Pavs to Logan? Wow. I've been around for a while. That's a lot of captains. So the answer is I don't know that we know who the next I don't know that we know who the next captain is yet, or I don't know that we have an early inclination to it. Do you think another offseason of conditioning for Eklund will stop his holding penalties? Is that infraction starting to bother you a little bit? I think he will continue to grow in maturation and size and strength and skating and ability. And so I know what you're saying, though. I get it. 30,000 follower celebration. Wait, did I get there? Hang on a second. Are we? I don't want to misspeak here. I don't even know. Are we? Let me find this out here. Oh, there it is. No. Oh, but close. Yeah. 27,700, something like that. Sure. Let's do something for 30,000. Let's get to 100,000 too, but let's do something for 30,000. I don't know what to do. Tomas Hertl next in line for the seat. Yeah, you're right. Felix, you're right. At this point, And I should actually address this because I know some people were probably thinking Hertl the entire time, and here I am omitting Hertl, but my thinking along those lines are, well, I guess you do have Hertl signed for the long term, but you're trying to think of the next, like kind of how Logan was a younger player and the next thing. You're not necessarily saying, well, the oldest and longest tenured player is the captain. I guess my thought process was, who's the next up-and-coming captain? Now, you're right. Hertl is in that same vein, no doubt about it. I praised him so much earlier. Yeah, you're right, Colin. And you guys are all right. I guess my mind was already, like, down the road. So, fair enough. I did not nail that one. That's the nature of a live stream. I can unsubscribe and resubscribe if it was something not working. Oh, meet and greet at 30,000. Okay, I like that idea. That would be cool. I like that. What are your thoughts on the things like the Winter Classic and the All-Star Weekend? Is the novelty still there for you, or has it worn out? For the All-Star game, it's a little bit worn out. But that's the same thing in the NBA, baseball, Pro Bowl. It's a little bit worn out. I want to spice it up. I want it to have some meaning, but I also don't want anybody to get hurt. I enjoyed the All-Star game when it was in San Jose of the NHL, but I don't know if watching that on TV has the same effect of like not being there. So Winter Classic, I love. I could do a few more Winter Classics. I could honestly do A Winter Classic in November, December, January, and February. Is that too much? A Winter Classic for every month. And let's get the Sharks back in there. It's been too long since they played an outdoor game. 2015? Coming up on 9 years here since an outdoor game for them. Even if they're the visiting team, I would much rather than be the home team. But I also don't. Would Oracle Park be the next venue? It would have to be. Although the NHL loves those big stadiums. But they've already done Levi's. I guess they've already done Fenway and Wrigley multiple times. But I'm going to be honest. I'm going to start the pitch right now that the Sharks need to play an outdoor game in San Francisco. They just do. Thoughts? Oh, Kevin, or Kev. I'm assuming it's Kevin. Kev, thank you very much for being here in the Super Chat. Really do appreciate that. Off-topic thoughts on paragliding and drones as more accessible modes of flight. Thanks for all your work covering the A's. Well, thank you for being part of the Super Chat. So, paragliding makes me a bit nervous. I get it. It's light flight, so to speak. There's something about just like an airplane and a proper aircraft and being inside it and having a motor, a proper motor. I don't know. Look up what paragliding here. Maybe I should show the audience what paragliding is. Hang on a second. Paragliding. There we go. Paragliding looks a little bit like, why are all these things popping up here? Paragliding. There we go. Paragliding looks like that. So yeah. I don't know if it's for me. I like being in an airplane. I just do. Let me see. Oh, can I do that? Oh yeah, there we go. I can do that. I should have done this the first time. Yeah, I like being in a proper aircraft. But drones, I do see a lot of purpose for. I think I'm going to purchase a drone. I've never owned one actually. I think and by the way, for the YouTube channel, I really want to get some cool drone shots at the Coliseum this summer, before it's all maybe done, maybe not done. I want to get my own drone shots. I want to fly and get the shots I know that I want. But I like drones. Accessible modes of flight. The only thing I worry about drones is that people get a little bit too, they get a little bit too cavalier and ambitious with where they're going to fly them, how they're going to fly them. I mean, I'm somebody who, as a pilot, I pay attention to airspace and winds aloft, and I'm thinking about those things. I don't know. I think some people who just, drone, cool, I'll fly it wherever. Like, well, there's an airport right there. I know they're putting in some preventative measures for people not to be able to fly close to airports, but yeah. So, hey, Kev, thank you so much for being here and being on the Super Chat. I really, really do appreciate that. And maybe the contribution here will eventually, in some way, shape, or form, go towards the channel's first ever drone. Wait till I get that thing unleashed. Danny Heatley. Best All-Star. Scott Hannon and I were watching those old videos the other day of Danny Heatley. Effing All-Star. You remember those? Those are still on YouTube, by the way. Which Sharks am I voting for to go to the All-Stars? Hurdle, because he's going, and I don't think anybody else will. I'm going to bring something up here. I know that it's kind of the requirement and the unwritten law, because I don't think this is written anywhere, but it's the unwritten rule that every team gets an all-star, like in baseball and basketball, in hockey. Maybe we need to get past that, though. Maybe not every team needs a representative. If, hypothetically, this season's Sharks didn't get anybody sent to the All-Star game, I would not lose a single night of sleep. And trust me, I'm a person who likes to bring up interesting topics and points and defend the Sharks. And, of course, I'm going to see things from a teal perspective. But if this was the time where the NHL goes, yeah, it's just not an all-star for San Jose this year. Okay. I don't know that that needs to be a 100% rule every single season, every single time. Mark Smith and I were talking about this earlier tonight. Maybe this shouldn't be a rule. And maybe all the snubs that you talk about, and there's like 4 players on Vancouver, at least 3 of them that are 50-plus points already, and none of them are officially right now at this point going to the All-Star game. So JT Miller, Brock Besser, Hughes is going. Vancouver's captain's going. Hughes, Miller, and there's one other player, and Thatcher Demko's having a really good season. None of them are headed to the All-Star game. So there's a couple teams, and it's not just the Sharks. So like Chicago, Connor Bedard was supposed to go. Connor Bedard's not going. Maybe nobody else from Chicago should be the representative. Is it that big a deal? You'd have to sell me on why is it important that somebody goes to the All-Star game from every team? Or is it? Does that really need to happen? Is there going to be hurt feelings, or is it a marketing thing? The league needs to spread the love and the word about the All-Star game? Maybe so. I guess I'm just here to say, as somebody who's on one of, or somebody who supports one of those teams that might be on the outside looking in of having nobody represent them, under certain circumstances, I'd be totally okay with it. And I don't know if that's a popular thought or opinion, but that's how I feel. Jim wondering, what's my thoughts on spring football or the UFL? I think spring football is an interesting existence in that it can bridge the gap. I mean, literally, if you think about the NFL season, they take over every July, right? The start of training camps, and they are a year-round endeavor. But they start getting going in July, then there's training camps, then preseason. Everybody's talking about, week 2, week 3, week 4. And then you get into the regular season, and that goes all the way until, right around the end of the year. And then you get the playoffs, and then you get the Super Bowl in February. And basically, by then, before the draft, you have March, April, May. Those are prime months. And yeah, there's baseball going on. There's March Madness going on. There's hockey and basketball playoffs. So in some sense, like football really is king. But even football knows when to say, all right, we'll let them, do their thing for those couple months. Everything's crossing over. Everything else is so busy. April, May, June, July. But then the NFL comes right back. And so I think, in a way, it's good that the NFL doesn't try and capitalize on entirely being year-round, and they let other leagues try and exist during those spring months. Because you know what? They're good to be outside. It's good football weather. It's good everything outdoor weather. But I don't know that the NFL needs to. I think it goes against them when they're at that point. Look at that. John saying Thatcher Demko, just like I was suggesting earlier. Yes. Yes, Jerry, you got it. All-star relegation. It's okay. Again, it's not the end of the world if not every team is represented. I know it's a popularity contest, but it doesn't need to be fair. And then you have to look at a lot of players in all-star game situations and go, well, you're an all-star, you're having a good year, but you're on a really bad team and you're not even having the best year compared to all these other all-stars. I don't know. John Scott going again to the All-Star game. Oh, wow. Let's see what else we got here. Jerry would not watch an All-Star game with no Sharks participating. All right, fair enough. I know my opinion on that. It's only recently formed. I'm not really, this has not been a long-standing opinion of mine, but I recently found it, and I think there's definitely something to it. Let's see what else here. Did I already get to? Oh, yeah, we got to that one already. Performance-based all-stars all day. All day. All right. Well, it's 11:45, and I think I might have run out of gas. That might be it. The stream's been going all right? Yeah, no breakups. All right, that's good. Stream health has been good. Just checking in on it. So, I think that's gonna do it. Ooh, let's bring in some music here. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I didn't do phone calls this time, but I'll tell you what. The next time I come on here for the live chat, the live stream, I'll make it a phone call only edition because I do enjoy that. We didn't actually get around to it this time, but just go ahead and bookmark the number. You can always, by the way, call in and leave a voicemail, and eventually I make voicemail calls or videos about calls. Like I'll respond to one or I'll play a bunch of them together. But just know that you can always do that. It's not just a number for when I'm live streaming, I'll answer the phone, but obviously you can always call in the meantime and leave a voicemail. Okie doke. Appreciate it, everybody. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and everything that's going on here. And I think I'm going to lay low tomorrow for Friday. And then back on TV Saturday for Sharks pre and post. That's a 12:30. 12:30 showtime for us. 1 o'clock game against Ottawa. Jason Demers in studio, by the way, for 6 straight games. And then, yeah, I'll see you again soon here on the YouTube channel. All right, everybody. Have a good night. Be good. Stay safe. All right. See ya.